Okay. Oh, hi. I'm Matt Halpern, and you're watching Cat with Hats. My name is Matt Halpern, and I'm 33 years old. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, in the USA, and I'm actually still living, when I'm not on tour, in Baltimore, Maryland, in the USA. My band is called Periphery. I don't play any other instruments. I just talk a lot, and that's probably enough for me. I proudly play Mapex drums, Meinl cymbals, Evans drum heads, and ProMark drumsticks. The first drummer I knew by name, wow, that's a tough question. Maybe Dennis Chambers, I think. I think I was born with the want and the dream to play drums. So I don't know when I actually got hooked, but according to my parents, it was at a very, very young age. I had the propensity towards playing drums, I think, at a very young age. I'm both self-taught and I'm a student. For the early part of my career, I took a lot of drum lessons with some great private teachers. But you know, as you progress and go, you learn how to teach yourself things. So I would say I'm both. There was never a plan B. There was multiple plans that supported drumming. And to this day, I still am very active in a lot of different endeavors aside from drumming. So yeah, but drumming has always been at the center and always will be. The first record that I purchased was probably Metallica, maybe the Black Album, but I'm being very, very technical in that was the one that I purchased. My dad had so many records that I listened to and that I was exposed to way before I ever purchased the Metallica Black Album. So that wasn't the first record by any means that I listened to. Just most recently actually bought the brand new Devin Townsend record. He just put out a double album actually that my bandmate Nolly mixed. He did the sound for it, so I'm a big fan. I learned a lot from so many different people. That's a tough statement to make because I'm still learning so much. And whether it's drumming or whether it's life lessons or things about music or business, I try to be open-minded so that I can learn from as many people as I can. I think that's why we're here, to keep learning, you know? So, yeah, always stay learning. Music to check out. Lately, I've been really excited about this electronic band called Survive, which are really, really cool. I also think if you've never listened to Tigran Hamasyan, I would highly, highly recommend listening to Tigran Hamasyan. If you're a musician of any kind, you will appreciate it very much so. I draw inspiration from usually things that aren't drumming related. I draw inspiration from really nature, you know, I like to spend a lot of time when I'm home or even when I'm traveling. I like to go out and find places to hike. I like to be around dogs and my animals and things like that. So I draw inspiration from life experience. I don't think there is one particular thing that inspires me more than anything else. But I think that the experience that you have in life should translate itself through the craft of, or through the art that you make. So if you're a drummer, the experiences should come through the drumming. If you're a painter, the experiences you have should come through painting. And for me, that's the inspirational part, you know. My forte on the kit, I would like to think it's groove, having a strong sense of feel. I've always poured myself into the music, and I've never really been focused on the technical aspect more than the groove aspect. So I think groove for me is the most important thing, and probably my biggest strength. For the past 6 months or so, I've been really focused on my double bass. I've been working a lot on strengthening my left foot, strengthening my consistency, my speed, and just trying to be as well-rounded as I can as a drummer. Do I have a favorite song to play? You know, there's quite a few new songs from my band Periphery that are a lot of fun to play live. I would say the one that's probably the most, the one that I connect with the most is this song called Lune, which is the last song on our newest record. Ooh, do I have a dream gig? Well, as far as like a place to play, that would be a dream. I think it would be amazing to play Red Rocks. I think that'd be a really cool place to play. And then I think if we ever get the chance to play in Madison Square Garden, that'd be amazing. But yeah, I think that'd be a cool spot to play with Periphery. Hobby. You know, my hobbies are really built around business. I really enjoy creating products or opportunities for people, you know, to benefit from. So one of the things that I'm really excited about now is my drum sample company. It's called Get Good Drums, or for short GGD. I'm really excited about that because we're able to provide really good drum sounds for producers to use in their studios. So right now, as of late, that's been a big hobby of mine, is focused on that. I'm trying to determine my life motto. I have a drumming motto, I think. My drumming motto is the more you move, the more you groove. And I think that's important to find your own personal movement with whatever it is you're doing. But you know, the life motto question, I think I'm still working on that. I'm trying to find my own way of expressing what I feel there.
Okay, so you already got to know Matt a little bit, and we have a few more minutes for about 2 questions. Matt, since you love to inspire people and to help them out also, I would like to know, how do you come up with a drum groove in general, and maybe especially for a groove in Periphery? Like, how long does it take you to hit the best cymbal or drum for the moment?
Sure. That's a good question. Well, there's 2 different sides to that. For myself, when I'm just practicing, when I'm doing a clinic, it's really built off of a series of improvisation. So I focus on one very simple rhythmic idea. And I try not to start with all the layers. The more you layer it, the more complicated it gets. So I try to think of rhythm at first in a very linear fashion. So just one note at a time, and just try to articulate the sound that I'm looking for. So like a beat that would be like do di ga do 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 ga. When I beatbox, you can only say one sound at a time. So I'm not thinking about it in terms of hi-hat, kick, snare, tom, cymbals, all these things. I'm just thinking about it in terms of just the rhythms. So usually that's where I start, and then through a series of phrasing and just continued kind of experimentation with it, then I'll slowly start to layer it and experiment with like different rates, different accents, different symbols, and it's a very, very fluid kind of thing that happens naturally. But when I find something that I like, I'll just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and just keep it going until I memorize it. Sometimes I'll film it or something like that. When it comes to the band though, you know, I'm kind of in a lucky spot because I don't have to do as much work in the very creative, or I should say in the early creative stage of it, because most of my bandmates who write the music, when they write a guitar riff, they have an idea already what they want for at least the feel of the drum part. So they'll use drum programming and they'll program a very, very, very basic, very, very fundamental example of similar to what I was describing before. And then from there I can understand what they're going for. I can understand whether they want it to be faster, slower, more aggressive, more laid back, and then that gives me a starting point to then craft it from there. So usually when we write the drum parts, it's very basic with programming, and then I'll come in and we'll program it more, and then we'll listen to it for a couple weeks and let it sink in, and I'll tap it on my steering wheel when I drive, and I'll sort of work through the parts, and then once we actually sign off on the programmed drum part, then I'll take it to the drum set finally. And then I do one more round of revisions. So I'll play it, I'll experiment, I'll figure out if it makes sense with this symbol, that symbol, you know, different accents, and then we'll finalize the part there. So it's a really interactive process between me and my bandmates, and it definitely takes some time. And I think this is why part of the reason why I started a drum sample company, so that it's because I use drum programming so much, because I see a lot of drummers that write a part, they go into the studio, they record it, and then they spend all this money and all this time, and then 2 weeks later they realize, oh, I wish I had done this thing differently, or I wish I had recorded it like this. So by having the ability to program it and make changes in a second, it really eliminates all of that work, and then you can fall in love with the parts over more time and really craft them the way that you want them to be. So for me, that's how I approach the drum writing process for Periphery, versus the very organic on the drum set process for myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool.
So you're lucky to have a lot of time.
I'm lucky to have a lot of time. Yeah. We you know, in Periphery, we consider the music writing process to be the most important thing that we do. So there's never a time limit. So even if that means that we have to push back a tour, or if we have to cancel shows to write a record the right way, that's what we'll do. Because you can't tour without music. You can't do anything without the music. So the music is the most important part of what we do. So we give it as much time as it needs to be, I don't want to say perfect, but it needs to be right for us, you know. So
one follow-up question. Are you sometimes surprised when you take the program beat to the drum set? Does it always work how you expect it to work?
It usually works, because we can get so detailed with the programming that there's very little room for something to feel weird or be wrong. It does happen sometimes, but that's the great part, is if I take the part to the drum set and it feels funny, I can rework it, and then I just call one of my bandmates and say, hey, at 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the song, instead of doing what's already there, I'm doing this. Can you reprogram it and send it to me so I can listen back with the music? So it's either way, it's really easy to augment it or to change it, you know, and just I find it to be a really actually good process. So it's a cool way to do it, you know.
And sorry, one more question.
Sure.
Now I'm thinking of you record on a Roland V set. Is that always the case? Or
No.
Just
that was just on the first record. Going forward, we've always used full drum set, live drums. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So now finally the second question.
That's okay.
The second question is from my Keep pal Alireza Tabatabai from Iran.
Oh wow, okay.
Hello, Alireza. He would like to know how you teach somebody musicality, if that's possible.
Musicality. I think musicality, honestly, comes from listening to music. I don't play any other instruments, but I understand music and musicality because I listen to so much music. And this is actually a really important thing that I like to explain to people, especially drummers. When drummers are working with a band, or when they're learning a song or they're writing a part, a lot of times what they focus on are the drums, only the drums. Mm-hmm. So, and I have students of mine all the time that say things like, "Hey, I'm trying to learn your part, and I'm listening to the drums, and I can't figure it out." And my response to them is, okay, well, stop listening to the drums. Don't focus on the drums. Focus on the music. Learn every other melody. Learn every lyric. Learn every other part of the song aside from the drums, so that you can sing back the parts and then figure out the right drum part for the part. Because that's the thing, and this is something I like to teach a lot too, which is the melody really in a song stays the same. The melodic rhythms and the melodies themselves, that's what makes the song. Mm-hmm. But you can take any melody and change the drum part, and it drastically changes the feel of the song. So I guess the point is, if you're trying to become more musical, listen to lots of music so that you understand different styles and what things feel like. But when it comes to writing drum parts, learn the melodies, be able to sing them back and actually hum them, and then you can experiment with an endless amount of drum beats to see which one works best. Mm-hmm. So I teach this usually with nursery rhymes, mm-hmm. like very simple mm-hmm. melodies, because like if we're doing like Mary Had a Little Lamb, mm-hmm. right? Like Mary had a da 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 da. That melody stays the same, but you could put a different beat behind that. Or you could go so and mm-hmm. so on and so forth. I mean, mm-hmm. it can go on and on and on. So the musicality is in the music. If you can train your ear to be more musical, then that will translate naturally into the drum parts that you play, because you'll write parts that really complement the melodies, and that's the key.
Great answer.
That's what I think, at least. It might be wrong, it's neither wrong or right. It's just my approach, but I think it's a good approach to take, because it really is. Drums can be a very melodic instrument, but you have to think of it that way, and the best guide for that is the music that you're playing. Mm-hmm. So
makes sense.
That's what I got.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
I learned quite something here. I hope you did too. And if you want more of Matt, then check out his YouTube channel, Halpern.
Yeah, it's Hellpern.
Yeah.
But you can also follow me on my socials. On Snapchat, it's Matt Halpern, TEI, which stands for The Entertainment Institute, which is one of my side businesses. Mm-hmm. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Matt Periphery.
Yes, and you can get good drums.
Yep.
You can buy the Matt Halpern signature sample pack.
Yep.
And sound like Matt.
Yep.
Well, at least the sound. You
Yep.
have to practice the chops still by yourself.
But yeah, you can get the drum samples at getgooddrums.com.
Yes, and you can even wear Matt's T-shirt.
You can get my V next to it. That's deepvapparel.com.
Yes. Oh, wonderful.
I can send you wherever you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So thank you for your time, Matt.
Thank you very much. No problem.
And thank you for watching. See you soon, hopefully.
See ya.
Bye.